Cardiac amyloidosis used to be a diagnosis no one wanted to give. There wasn't much we could do about it. That had changed dramatically, and it's one of the headline topics at this year's Global Cardio-Oncology Summit in Williamsburg. I'm Abdelrahmen Ali, a second-year cardiology fellow at UTMB Galveston. As part of our lead up to GCOS 2026, I'm sitting down today with Dr. Joshua Mitchell. Um, I'm joined today by Dr. Joshua Mitchell, who is an associate professor of medicine at Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis, where he directs both the Cardio-Oncology Center of Excellence and the Cardio-Oncology Fellowship, and co-directs the Amyloid Center of Excellence. He chaired the 2021 ICOS Expert Consensus on Cardiovascular Screening in Radiation Survivors, sits on the ICOS Scientific Committee, and chairs its Patient Advocacy Working Group. Welcome, Dr. Mitchell.
Well, thank you for having me, Abdelrahmen. It's great to be here.
Same here. Thank you for joining us today. So let's start our talk. You now direct both the Cardio-Oncology Center of Excellence and the Cardio-Oncology Fellowship at WashU. What drew you to cardiac amyloidosis specifically?
What do I do with cardiac amyloidosis specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
What
I
what
help
what
lead.
drew you?
Oh, it drew me. Okay, thank you for
Yeah.
clarifying. So I guess I shouldn't say I've always been interested in amyloid. It feels like that, but when I went to medical school, it was kind of a throwaway diagnosis. You learn about it, it's cool. You don't see it again. But as I was doing my fellowship in the 2015 to 18 era, and that's when the ATTRACT trial was going on. And right before tafamidis was approved, there was now a growing interest in amyloid. And it was fascinating because we didn't know the right way to diagnose it. We were often missing it, and we were learning how to manage it. And so there's all of these very interesting clinical questions that needed addressed, and there still are. But I really liked being able to hone in on the disease, better understand how we should be diagnosing and management. And then that really positions us to best manage the patients. And, patients are always very grateful to have people who help take care of them that understand the disease process. And so I find the disease now fascinating and the field fascinating because we have this growing change of medicines available and an increasing number of diagnostic tools to help us.
Absolutely, yeah. And, like it was considered a rare disease, not anymore. But like, let's focus on your talk. I guess you're gonna be touching base about ATTR silencer and stabilizers. Now there's depleters. The toolbox is suddenly crowded. And how do you think about sequencing or choosing between them in real practice?
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic question, and we'll talk about that some at GCOS. So I look forward to seeing everyone there. We now have three FDA-approved medicines for cardiac amyloid, an additional medicine or more for hereditary neuropathy, and so we have choices, and that's so much better than we had just 10 years ago. And so there are a lot of questions on how do we position each one of these medicines against each other? What should be first line? When should we use what? And so we'll try to tease out some of those differences in our talk. At the end of the day, they're all great medicines, and we just want to start people on therapy. So diagnosis is always the most important. But it's fun to kind of look at the differences between the medicines and understand what are the strengths and possible weaknesses of one medicine over another.
Sounds great. Moving to another question, kind of question, like you chaired the ICOS Patient Advocacy Working Group and previously co-chaired the ACCs. Why does patient advocacy belong in our society today, and what does it work actually look like day to day?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're all here to help patients out. Sometimes we can be just focused on the medicine. So, what should I prescribe? And we don't always stop to think, well, what does the patient want in front of me? And
Mhm.
so the patient advocacy group's main mission is to understand that better. How can I better help out the patient? What are their struggles? And I was recently part of an initiative, and this one was run by Pfizer to better understand patient and what's driving them in the amyloid space. What are they most worried about? Are they more worried about mortality or quality of life, as an example? When you're prescribing medicines, what types of things are they looking for? And I think it's really important to understand that piece when we come to talk to them in the clinic or the hospital as we work to find the best treatment regimen and plan for them.
Sounds good. My last question for you for today is for folks like me who are trainees, and why should they join cardio oncology field, and why should they show up for GCOS and learn more about our interesting field?
I think a more important question is why would you not want to do cardio-oncology, to be honest? I know when I was a second year fellow, I was asking the division chief if there was a general cardiology job available after graduation, and he suggested I do cardio-oncology. And at the time, it was a little bit newer, and I was like, cardio-oncology? I'll think about it. I am so grateful that he suggested that to me because it's just a really fulfilling field. You're there for the patients, they appreciate it. Your colleagues appreciate it because they can call you on the phone and say, "Hey, I've never heard of devolumab. What do I do with this medicine?" And you can help out. And because it's such a growing and exciting field, I think there's lots of opportunities for new trainees to be involved and have a much more rapid growth to become leaders in the field. And so I would encourage anyone who's thinking about cardio-oncology to seriously consider it and come to GCOS because I was exposed to GCOS in London early on. One of the best conferences I've ever been to. GCOS is always a great conference, a lot of learning. It's the right size of a conference, and so I definitely encourage people to attend.
Thank you so much for giving some of your time today, Dr. Mitchell. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Abdelrahmen. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, thanks everyone. Looking forward to seeing you in GCOS. Stay tuned for more interviews.